Hey everyone, welcome back to Vibes and Vines. I'm Kyramatalasi, a plant mother and a music lover, and today I am here to let you know 5 things that you should know as a beginner gardener. The first and arguably most important thing that you need to, this is something I'm just putting y'all on because this is something that I did not take seriously. I was like, me, okay, I'm just gonna do my own G thing. No, listen to me when I tell you that mulching is one of the key things to have a high yield of crops. Maybe if you're in an experimentation phase and you're just trying to do stuff, cool, maybe mulching is not your thing. But if you really want to get something out of your garden, if you want the most abundant yield of crops, then you are going to want to mulch. So first things first, what is mulch? And mulch is any substance that provides good enough coverage to help the soil retain moisture. So that could be anything from hay, wood bark. Why mulch is so important is because it is going to keep your soil moist, which is really important if you live in really windy and hot climates like I do. It's going to help preserve the nutrients. Hydration and nutrients are so important. And I'll give you a little anecdote. So the first year I didn't really take it seriously. Like I said, I was like, so I'll show you a picture of how my soil looked like when I didn't have any topsoil, and then I'll show you what it looks like now. And right now it looks so much better. All of my crops, all of my flowers, my tomatoes, my corn are retaining so much more moisture. What happens when you don't have topsoil or a form of mulch is the wind's gonna come. So every day, you know, we all got wind no matter where you live. Or even the heat. So the sun and the wind and all the elements are going to slowly, day by day, strip all the some of the nutrients and strip some of the moisture away. So there have been a couple $100s that have definitely gone down the drain because I just was ignorant to the fact that soil needs to be taken care of. Stop flying planes. You're killing the environment. Not only will it save you money on soil, but it also save you money on water, and it'll be better for the environment as a whole. If the wind's not stripping away all your moisture, if you have a topsoil, if you have mulch to help keep it hydrated and help it retain water, then you're not going to be using as much water every day. You're not going to need to water every single day. You maybe need to water every other day, every 2 days, depending on what you got going on. Soil is very important. It's the reason why a lot of our produce doesn't have as much vitamins in there, because if the soil isn't rich in all the vitamins we need for our bodies, neither is the produce that springs from that. So, you know, it's a real delicate balance that you need to find. The second thing that every beginner gardener should know is about their pots and or containers and what they're going to use, especially because depending on the weather, you know, because the climate emergency is real out here. You may need to move certain things out of the way when it gets too hot or too cold. Similar to houseplants, if you have something in terracotta, you know, it's very porous, so it's going to absorb some of the water. So not all the water that you're giving your plants is going to be given to the root system. It's going to be absorbed partly by the pot. So if you do have plants that are going to be in terracotta pots, just as with house plants, you're going to need to water it more often. When you have a plastic pot, the plastic's not absorbing any of that water. So if you had something plastic, it would be good if you had crops in there that need a lot of water. That might be good for watermelon, because watermelon, hence the name, it needs a lot of water. Same with avocados. So a lot of trees do really well. The 2 trees I have back here, I have in large plastic containers. One of my favorite containers to use, and I feel like a lot of beginner gardeners shouldn't be afraid to use, is grow bags. And grow bags are like these felt pots that you can store really easily. They're super lightweight, and they allow the roots to breathe a lot. I need to speed up this video because it's getting hot and my AC wants to pop on and then you can't hear me. Okay, so the third most important thing for a beginner gardener is going to be when to plant your crops and the different zones. So one of the first things you're going to want to do is figure out what zone you're in. And at first I was kind of intimidated because it's like, oh, zone A, zone 9B, zone 10, zone 10A, when you could, so it sounds hella technical, but it's really, really simple. So your girl just had to switch filming locations because the AC just kept coming on in the back. It just wasn't looking cute, so this is what it is. So I'll get back to what I was talking about, which is zones and when to plant your crops. Zones are just really important because it lets you know what you can plant and when. Zoning will let you know what soil type you're working with, what temperatures you're working with. Let me save you a lot of time, money, and disappointment, and just let you know to look it up. It just takes a quick Google search. Make sure you Google a little bit of sources, just so you don't just pick one and run with it. But I know the Farmer's Almanac will tell you. I know Epic Gardening is an amazing channel, and he really helped me on my beginner gardener's journey. So he has a lot of good tips on zoning and when to plant your crops. You always want to plant your seeds ahead of time and know when to sow. Because, for example, when you think pumpkins, you think October. But you're not going to want to sow your pumpkin seeds in October. You're not going to want to plant, aka sowing is planting, just in case you get confused. So you're not going to want to plant your pumpkin seeds in October. You're going to want to harvest your pumpkins in October. So pumpkins take like around, I think like 165 days. I could be wrong. I'll correct myself if I am wrong. 165 days typically to reach maturity. That's just stuff to think about. It's a lot of work, and I know a lot of people don't really think about this stuff when they're starting, and that's why you kind of get discouraged when you plan stuff and it doesn't work. But keep trying, and that's why I'm making this video just on the basics. I'm not getting hella technical. I'm just letting you know what caused me to fail at first and to help you guys and to help you not fail. The fourth thing you should know as a beginner gardener is going to be fertilizer. Start simple. If you start really looking into fertilizer and the percentages, it can get hella intimidating to the point where you don't even want to fertilize. So I recommend just starting with like Dr. Earth's organic fertilizer. I recommend all organic fertilizers. Even though they're not precise in the amount of nutrients they give, I still know it's doing what's best for Mother Earth and my plants. Start with one, like pump fertilizers are great for your first year of gardening. So just like take Dr. Earth's, damn, out here too. That doesn't look like a water helicopter. It looks like one that's for the news, but damn, the fact that I know the difference, real SoCal life. And the fifth and final thing that every beginner gardener should know is how to water and how to figure out your watering schedule. And my first thing with watering is to give yourself grace. You're not, and for this whole video, just give yourself grace. There's not gonna be a time where you don't fuck up with your watering. There's gonna be times where you underwater, you overwater, you're feeling kind of lazy, you don't want to go out that day, and then you go out and your plant is crisped up. So it's gonna happen. There's gonna be times where you overwater something. It's gonna happen. So first and foremost, just know that. Hey everyone, this is gonna be Editing Kira, and I'm gonna kind of mash up together what I didn't so eloquently say in this clip about watering, but what's really going to be an important factor when it comes to watering is the soil type. So for example, here in Southern California, I have a clay soil which holds on to a lot of moisture compared to in different zones when they have a more sandy, loamy soil, which is going to need to be watered more because it drains better and more efficiently. So that's going to be a big determining factor in your watering schedule. And figuring out your watering schedule in the garden is also really dependent not only on soil type, but on how mature your plant is. So typically for more mature plants, in my experience, they could last a little longer because they have more water within their stems. When it comes to seedlings, you got to think, and this is how I killed off a lot of seedlings. It barely has any root systems going on, so it needs a constant source of moisture so it can start expanding, and so the roots can start to build a whole system, and then your plant will typically start to be more forgiving, you know? I hope y'all got something out of this video besides helicopters and cars going off in the background. It's stupid Mitsubishi. Who even has a... And they ran a stoplight. I mean, a stop sign. Rude. If you haven't already, please, it would mean so much, and it really helps the algorithm of this channel. If you hit that like button, comment something nice, and hit the subscribe button. And if you are feeling super generous today, make sure you share with a friend or a loved one, just to spread the love of Mother Nature. It may seem like something small. It may not feel like, you know, your little garden, your little houseplants are making a difference, but learning about nature and learning about what's natural, bit by bit, is going to be what really helps this planet, and what really is going to help our future. Because if we all make a garden, if we all learn new stuff about how to work with our environment and the soil and how to treat the planet, these are the skills we're going to need right here. So if you're worried about, like, I don't know about a little garden, like, you're making a change, and you're about to be the change for the future. So I'm gonna wrap this video out by just saying, be proud of yourself, love yourself, give yourself grace, give yourself space to learn, to grow, be patient, be present, and be kind to yourself. And get out there, get your hands in some dirt, and really get in touch with Mother Earth. Alright, with all that corniness packed up, wrapped up with a bow, thank you so much for coming back. Whoops, alright. Love y'all so much, and I will see you next week with a video on something music related. Bye.